that time of the week. It's that day of the week or the night of the week, depending on where you are in the world. We are in the UK, apart from Ben, who's in sunny Dubai. And we are the Red Room, bringing you all things Liverpool Football Club, that mighty Reds, who are not so mighty at the moment. It's fair to say they're not so mighty at the moment. But the talk, the debate, the chat must go on. We can't stay silent, lads. We can't all be Grizz Khan and not like talking about Liverpool when they lose. You know, I mean, we've got to gain viewership. We've got to gain subs. You know, make the most of this negativity, man. Come on, let's gain some subs, get some likes. You know what I mean? Let's pay our bills, man. And we're gonna talk Liverpool. I'm joking, people. You already know where I'm going with that conversation. I've been accused of all sorts this week, but it is what it is. We're here, we're live, and we're direct. And we're going to be talking Liverpool, slot out, slot in, players out. What's gone wrong? What's the solution? Formation, diamonds are forever, as Welshmo would say. But listen, I can't do all that on my own. I probably could, but I'd bore the shit out of you guys and you'd log off and unsubscribe and block me. I need a panel. And boy, do I have a panel. I have introducing Lewis with a great. Wait, hold on. New headphones.
Headphones? No.
Am I observantly amazingly observant?
No, these are the same pieces of shit I've had for weeks. It's not new here.
They look different color. Maybe it's the light.
I've changed the light color. If that's any sort of. That might have changed things a bit.
Can you know I always ask for blue Peter badges in the group WhatsApp when I want a pat on the back from you? Can you give me a blue Peter? Yeah, can you give me a pat on the back for at least spotting that? See that? I noticed something.
You changed the.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have Angry Ben recent weeks. Hopefully the international break has calmed him down. Hopefully it hasn't actually, because I love an angry Ben. We all love an angry Ben. Effing and blinding and spitting feathers at this demise of this great football club. How are we, Ben? How's international? Well, we're still even started yet, but
I don't watch it anyway.
Best to keep away from Liverpool and international break for a little while. Yeah, break from football.
Well, thought we said, didn't we? We're not out of the woods yet. We've just ended up back in the middle of it. Do you know what, lads? If they give us half a shit that we do, it'd be a much better team, wouldn't they? We'll get into it. Disappointing, lads. I'll tell you how I feel shortly.
I know you will. Well, Schmo, any more trips to Anfield on the horizon from sunny Wales? Is it one of those driving with glee and hope in your heart, or are you not looking forward to the next drive down? Yeah, next drive down or sideways.
It'll be drive up in it, south to north.
Yeah, it's a bit south Wales.
Driving up. Yes, okay, fair enough. Dreading the drive or going to be renewed hope?
Dreading. But luckily we don't. Luckily, I don't have to drive for a couple of weeks. There's no game, is there? So, yeah. Look, what can we say? I mean, I'm sure we're going to chop it all up now. We've like Ben said, we thought we were out the woods. My visual perspective of the woods. You know, a Batman film, Ra's al Ghul's pit, when everyone tries to get out of the pit. Yeah, we thought we were at the pit. We got to the final edge. We got to the ledge, and we slipped back down, man. That's how I feel.
Yeah, talking about we thought we were out the woods.
Certain
mans were predicting smashings and transitions and all sorts. My brother, of course.
Oh, brother. Honestly, I feel like I've got pie on my face. It's embarrassing because every single group chat that I'm in, on my Twitter, all my friends, you name it, I was like, we're back. The Reds are back. We've turned the corner. We're going to batter City. We're going to keep Haaland quiet and we're going to, etc. But wow, humbled. As you always say, Grizz, football's a humbler.
But this is it.
Boy, did I get humbled.
It really is. And look, that can work for us as well because every other fan base is making noise. Let them. The only ones that can chat to us is Man City. because they're the only ones that have won stuff in this era, of any significance. We're the second most successful team, I believe, of the last decade or so, maybe Chelsea.
Liverpool, Chelsea, and City.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the same as Chelsea.
I'm hoping that we've won more trophies than Chelsea in the last.
We have, but if you include in conference leagues and the friendly in
Super
America,
Cup,
then they've got more.
No, we're not counting the Donald Trump trophy. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
No. We're not counting the Donald Trump trophy. But yeah, so let them chat. Football's a humbler. Our time will come. We have to take it on the chin, our kid, as the Manx have been telling me last few days and weeks. Lou, I guess we have to look back to look forward. And looking back is the last game, which was Man City away. Now, obviously, we have a laugh and a joke in the WhatsApp group, and I wind you lot up. I come with the pure negativity, where some people come with the pure positivity, and then we have a few exchanges. You was, fair play to you, very nervous, but your support for Liverpool meant you gave a positive prediction, which I thought was fair enough. Is that how you felt looking back? Was you justified in thinking like that?
No, look, I think that it wasn't so much I was looking at it and thinking that we're going to bat, like, how do I put it without sounding like an utter twat? I wasn't trying to say it in a sense of, look, we're incredible at the moment. We're back on form. We're back at our best. I looked at this as, this is a City team who aren't back to their best. And at the moment, the way in which they're playing, the way that a lot of their play focuses on individual players more so than the system as a whole, I looked at it and thought, okay, what we've seen in the past two matches, dominating midfield, aggressive in the attack, defensively very solid. I look at it and thought, well, there's no reason we can't pull out the same performances that we did against Villa and Madrid, against City, because we did it last season. Different team, albeit, and you said that yourself in the group, like City were a shambles last season. But if you look at their midfield, Nico Gonzalez has won 14 of his 16 attempted tackles going into that match. The next highest is Bernardo Silva on 5. That midfield is weak, and it's a midfield that was there for the taking. And the way we played against Madrid and the way we operated, they were there to be beat physically, mentally, and for us to go there and pick up a result. And if I was to go into a match against City and say, we're going to get absolutely battered, I'd be annoyed at myself for thinking it, because we should never be in a circumstance where we think that. It's true. Like, you are absolutely right to say, look, the best we're gonna get out of this is going to be a draw, because in the back of my mind I was like, okay, it's going to be a struggle. But the biggest thing that let us down was ourselves. It wasn't that City completely outplayed us. They did, but we let ourselves down. I don't care if it's Roy Hodgson. I don't care if it's Graham Souness. I don't care if it's Brendan Rodgers, Jurgen Klopp, Arne Slot. I don't care who's in charge. The least I expect from a team, regardless of tactics, is when you're playing a title rival, whether you want to call City that or not this season, is to put in an effort and to at least not get ran all over the pitch and get completely bullied. And we let that happen at the Etihad. We looked like we turned up scared, like it was the City team from 2018-19 and rolled over. And I never want to see that. So if I can go into it thinking, right, we could get something from here, it's only if they put the effort in, because never in a million years did I think we were going to give up the way we did that match on Sunday. And that's the entire reason why I went into that thinking we could get something, because I never expected us to. We could have got outplayed, which we did, but we just got bullied. And I never thought that was going to happen, because I don't expect us to ever put in that kind of performance.
Ben, I think we probably pretty much share those sentiments. You was a bit more positive. You was a bit more upbeat about things. When I saw the lineup of the City team, I was at the Big Six mob watch along, and if people saw it, will know that I was pretty not confident, but I was comfortable. They didn't scare me. Man City's lineup in the past has been, Kevin De Bruyne on point. The little rat, what's his name, Silva, Bernardo Silva, when he could run, and then they had the flankers, and then Rodri as well. That was a scary Man City team, right? Kyle Walker to handle our pace at the back, whatever, right? We knew we were in for a torrid time. Same like there when they come to Anfield. They know they're in for a torrid time when they come to Anfield. I looked at this Man City team though, and I foolishly, looking back, obviously. But I thought, just like Lewis has said, that midfield, Foden, that other player, what was his name? What's his name? The midfielder?
Nico Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. And who's the third?
Bernardo.
Bernardo
He's
Silva.
there as well, weren't he?
I thought our three lads in there, right, on the back of Real Madrid performance, confidence must be a little bit back again. We can outmuscle them. We should be able to outplay them. There is no way they should dominate. What the hell happened, Ben?
Shit our undies, mate, is what happened. There's no two ways around it. Do you know what, Chris? It's not about I was more positive or nothing. I was thinking these players have let themselves down this season. It's time to get out there and put it on them. City were there to be got at, Chris. How the manager thought he could go with the same tactics from last year, I never know. Last year was a City side with zero confidence. Liverpool pressed, got the goal shot back. What were we doing? Chris, City never scared me. We scare me because I don't know what we're going to get anymore. I'll be honest, Chris, I think the manager can't get a tune out of these players anymore, and the players can't get a tune from him. I've done some stats for our show, Mo. I also told you about some of them as well.
Yeah.
2025, we've lost 16 games, Chris, in the calendar year. 13 of them are away from home. So the manager's obviously not getting a tune of them when they got all motivating them in the big moments away from home. We become like an Anfield team. Do you know what I mean? Where we seem to do a lot better than we do on the road. And look, regardless who's in or out of a manager, that's not good enough for Liverpool. That is not good enough for anyone in the job.
Do you know what? Right, let's just focus on that a little bit for a couple of minutes before we go into the almost tragic events of the Etihad. So, come to you, Scouts Mo. Ben mentions about the away record, yeah, but then our home record is, if we minus the Man United debacle, last minute goal, which is ridiculous, we've got an impeccable record at home. Is there a mentality issue then away from home? Because when things are not rosy and cozy for us, right? And I hated it, I tweeted it. The worst feeling for me, lads, I think we're probably all the same. I'm no fucking different. I hate my club being a soft touch.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing as a fan. I used to cuss the shit out of Arsenal being a soft touch. Do you remember they used to get bullied every other game away from home? We're that now. Where did that happen? How did that happen?
I think there's a combination of different things, but one of them probably our transfer business in the summer. Can't lie to you, boys. I know at the time we were like obviously over the moon with some of the players that we bought, and who wouldn't be world-class players, some of them. But looking back on it now, yeah, I'm asking myself the question, like, how these players meant to fit into a system? What system was planned? But then touching on the away, like, of course, there's an issue away from home. Since, like, probably as Ben was mentioning, the PSG second leg. Since then, I think we've lost majority of them away from home. We've only lost once at home, and that was against United. So at home, it seems like it's okay. Maybe it's comfortable for the players. We've got a good atmosphere at Anfield, and they feel more relaxed at home. Away from home, I feel like opposition teams seem to put it on us a lot more. They're a lot more physical. The crowd, the atmosphere, it's a lot more intense. That could possibly be a factor. But at the same time, I never really understand why you can't just, like, your Liverpool Football Club, you play for Liverpool Football Club, your world-class players that play for Liverpool Football Club. A lot of these players have been to the very, very top. So they've experienced playing in the most fiercest of away stadiums. So the least I expect is for you to have the right mentality and the right motivation when you go to like an Etihad, when you go to the GTEC Community Stadium, etc. Like, I need you to have the minimum that and show some desire and show some fight. But this season, especially away from home, I don't think I've seen that. I've hardly seen that, honestly. And as you said, Chris, that's the worst thing to say about your own club when there's no fight, there's no desire. For me, there's one game in the last like 5 years that always sticks out to me that makes me sick. And that was the one that we lost to United away, where we lost, I think, 2-1 or 3-1. And I remember that game because I was there. And I will never forget how weak our team looked that day.
Was that the one where was that the one early part of the season?
Early part of the season.
It was the third game of the season because we beat Bournemouth 9-0 the next game.
Yeah, Gomez was partnering Van Dijk at the back, I think.
And I remember that game, and it made me physically sick watching my team because we look so weak. But honestly, I feel like I've seen that sort of performance 3, 4, maybe 5 times this season, and that concerns me hugely. Like, as you said earlier, Grizz, like I went into this game with positivity, optimism, and the reasons that it's a combination between what Lewis and Ben have mentioned so far. It was like the previous 2 games, how we performed, and also a little bit of like self-respect for themselves to go into this game and try and get at least a point. It's ridiculous. We've lost 5 games. We don't even have a draw to our name. So I've waffled for a bit there, bro. But there's just a combination of so many things.
Jump in quick, Chris. Just on you said Liverpool. Sorry, because I know Mo wants to have it.
No.
But just quickly, do you know? I said 16 defeats this year. 7 of the 16 Liverpool. These are away from home. 7 of the 16. We've lost by 3 or more goals. That tells you how weak Liverpool are.
Oh, that is a nasty one. Say that again. 7 of
16
those.
defeats. 16 defeats in 2025. 7 of them we've lost by 3 or more goals.
What? 3 or more goals?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, tell me, is the manager getting a tune out of them on the way on the road? No.
So look.
Wow.
The only skewed thing about that stat is I personally, and look, you guys can look into it deeper if you want, and that's fine. I'm not gonna take too much seriousness from after we won the league, right?
There was only 2 defeats there, by the way.
There was only that was Brighton beat us and Chelsea.
Fine. So if that's the case, that's fine. So I personally would take away that, which, by the way, I'm not defending because the rest of the record's still shitty. So I'm not saying, no, it's totally skewed. I'm just saying I personally disregard those defeats, personally. But Welsh Mo, that's just not on, is it? And on any level, when you're talking about Liverpool Football Club, like Mo said, when we're talking about the levels of Liverpool Football Club, that's beyond anything that we can speak on. Like our club, we don't suffer those kind of defeats, and that amount of defeats, that's just unheard of.
Yeah, that's a horrible stat to listen to, isn't it? And then the first thing I thought of was someone mentioned as well in the comments as well. Standards. We have standards as a Liverpool Football Club. So look, 50% of the fan base is probably slot in, 50% of the fan base is probably slot out. Okay, at this present time. How bad does it get? Where do our standards? Where do we draw our line? You know, we've already written off challenging for the league. Most fans have. We've probably all admit that we're in a top 4 battle now. If we lose the next 3-4 games out of 10 leading up to January, and because there's a possibility that could happen, you know, where do we draw the line? You know, and the scary thing about Man City, I think you need to give Baldy Pep a little bit of credit as well. Yes, that on paper that midfield was there to be had up, you know, but that midfield also of Bernardo Silva and Foden especially, they're 2 very press-resistant players. But the thing is, they never got pressed, so we gave them all the time in the world to be architects and do what they want to do, like, and that was the most worrying thing, like, because one game we've proved to fans that, or they proved to us that they can press. We pressed the hell out of Madrid, and then straight away the next game with the same players, there was nothing. So it has to come down to tactics. Why we sat back, set the tone, and as soon as we conceded, it just went downhill. So, look, I mean, there's a lot of things you've all said, which I agree with, even to the point of transfers and the plan from above. I think Slot has a lot to answer for that. I think Richard Hughes and co, because we don't know what the identity is. I can ask every single one of you now, tell me what Liverpool is, what our identity is. None of you could give me an answer. And that's the most worrying thing.
What's been the most drastic change then in your eyes, guys, very quickly before we go into the game and in the future? Like, in terms of what is the one key element that's really of our game or our formation or the manager or the players? What's the one key element that's really getting on your nerves, Lewis, about Liverpool right now?
I don't know, because I can't sit here and say it's because we don't have the personnel, because you look at the players we've got and there's good players.
Well, Scousemo was suggesting that we don't. We brought the wrong profile of player.
I actually
we
suggested
might have
that
done,
a few weeks ago as well. Like,
look,
you did?
We may well have done, man. We might have bought we might have just seen opportunity in the market and went, right, we can get Frimpong on the Klarna deal for 10 million a year for 3 years, or we can get Isak. There's good players in that team. I just can't accept the fact of how we set up for that City game. I do think it is a case of too many square pegs, round holes. He wants to play a certain style. Last season, when he had Trent in there, who could maybe create from a bit deeper, so he didn't have to venture as far forward. Maybe when you had Diaz, who you could bring on, who's an alternate option to Gakpo instead of a number 10, who you're having to play out wide just to make some sort of change happen when you weren't so... Salah was your only option really on the right because you don't view Chiesa as anything. I just put it down to he doesn't know what his best team is, because there's so many players in that team right now who are all fighting for similar positions. And you can't change too much. We've seen it for us in the past before. When we lost Suarez, we signed 9 players in a hope that, maybe we can just cram it together and hopefully something will work. We scored 49 less goals that following season. You can't just throw shit at the wall and hope that something sticks. And to throw in Frimpong, who's a different profile of fullback, Kerkez, who's a different profile of fullback, bringing in 2 strikers when you've only got 1 striker position, but not replacing the left winger position when you've lost Diaz. It didn't feel like there was ever a plan. And we've sold players who, like right now, I'd be dying to have a Jarrell Quansah in that team. With the way Canate is going, I'd happily throw him back in if the option was there. I'd happily put Diaz in that team on the left wing if he was still there. We've sold players who were so impactful. Tyler Morton, mate, he's been great for Lyon. I know it's the French league, blah, blah, blah. Like, people can say what they want, but we've sold talented players and not replaced their profile because we think, okay, if we just bring in Isak, he'll carry us with goals. If we bring in, I don't know, Frimpong because he's a cheap deal, he'll just instantly click. We've viewed this transfer window more so as a business opportunity, more so than what can get the best out of this team. Because we look at Frimpong and Kerkez and Ekitike and all these lads, Ekitike has been brilliant, but we viewed them as, well, they're only going to increase in value because they're young players who eventually we can sell on for more. We've not viewed it as, right, what does Slot need? Who does he need to bring into this team? Do we need another number 6? Do we need more depth at centre-back? Do we need, it's just been handled poorly. And at the time, we were all going mental because it's the most business we've ever done in a summer window. It's the most money that we've spent in a summer window. And people were saying, finally, we've gone out and we've bought players. That's great. But they're not the profile of players that we absolutely need. They're talented, but they're just not talented in a way that suits what Slot wants. And it really does show just how much work Klopp put into this team, because he inherited that original team, Slot, and managed to get a tune out of it. But I think Klopp had left it in such a situation that anyone could have at the time. It's faded because he just doesn't know what he's doing at the minute.
Ben, Lewis, I agreed with quite a lot with what Lewis said. I don't agree with sort of anyone could have done that with the Klopp team, but I absolutely understand where he's coming from at the moment. The frustration is there for all to see. But I wanted to ask you about the points he made about the profile of player and the replacing of players. So let's just quickly break it down, guys. We replaced Trent, who is probably the most elite ball-playing defender in world football, right? We replace him with someone completely different in Frimpong, who is just another throwback to a dashing wing back, old school. Do you remember? Some of you guys will remember Sean Wright-Phillips. You know the Sean Wright-Phillips, right? Bombing up and down that right wing. That's what he is, right?
Like an Aaron Lennon, isn't he?
Aaron Lennon, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he has not got a passing range. He's very good in tight situations with 1-2s, right? But he hasn't got, but no one's got the passing range of a Trent. But that's the first. What's the plan? That's the first question of, okay, what's the plan with that? Then we've replaced Tsimikas, who I think is far more suited to what Kirkes is being asked to do now, because Tsimikas wasn't great on the overlap, but he had good intricate passing and build-up play. Then we don't replace Diaz, who is our ball-carrying elite, but instead we replace him with 2 number 9s. Neither of them, and don't care what you guys say, neither of them are false 9s. They're both 9s, right? Pretty similar. I know we're trying to differentiate them and trying to make it. No, they're both number 9s, right? And of course, the tragic passing of Jota. He's right. It's a mishmash of what's the plan. Now, I know we've discussed, and I know everyone's discussing now, was this window a year behind, ahead, sorry, in terms of this is what we're going to look like post Salah?
No, because I don't think we've finished the signs yet. I think we're halfway from where they think they're going to go. Which they still haven't replaced Salah, for instance, have they? I don't know. I don't even know if someone could tell me what's slot ball. I don't think anyone in here knows what that is anymore. Yep. We are not what Feyenoord looked like, to be honest. Look, I don't know, mate. It's really difficult. I personally think if Mark Gay would have came in, I think he'd have been playing left back myself, and he'd move into that half space where we've seemed to do it this year. You've seen his style. I think it was the Frankfurt game. Lou, you're good with the stats and the formations. I've seen the shows that you do. Frimpong's been playing like a wing back at times. Do you know what I mean? High out wide. I don't know. I really haven't got an answer for you. I think it's very, very strange. Because as you said, 2 number 9s. I think more Ekitike is like a 9.5. Bit of a hybrid, isn't he? He likes to float around a bit. Bit more mobile than Isak from what we've seen up to now. But I don't know, player profile, maybe. I don't know. It's really, really difficult. Really difficult. The problem is, the facts are that I think Arne Slot has hit a league title a year too soon, probably. The expectations gone massively up. We wouldn't be as judgmental now if we hadn't won a league title last year, maybe. And I think that's the price you pay, unfortunately. But I do think we are a few players short. I think, right, for instance, Chris, can I go to a player in particular right now? Unless Florian Wirtz, for me, I don't think you're going to see the best of him under Arne Slot until we buy an absolute monster centre midfielder. Because you've got to have someone behind him who can win the ball back. If Macca's in there, the lack of legs, maybe his legs look like they're starting to go, for instance. You mentioned Trent. I think Arne Slot couldn't believe what he had on his hands last year. Someone who could get the ball from back to front in seconds. And I think he's finding it hard. He's struggling to build up play, and we look like our creative player now is fucking Kanate, and if that's the case, we are finished. So I don't want to try and just hammer them so much, but the facts are, Liverpool Football Club, and we're fucking garbage at the minute. That is the truth. And do you know, every show that I do with you, Chris, right? I know I try and get fired up for it, but that's because I'm proud of Liverpool. I've got I go to games, so I know what it's like to go all the time. The facts are, lads, that every team we go up against, I expect us to fucking win. The most successful club in England. We can't just be winning the league title and going on our asses the next year. That's not acceptable. So, I don't know, look, got to give the players a bit of time. But one thing for sure, I wouldn't judge them too soon, because I think the facts are that the manager's been terrible this season, Chris. And I want him to turn it round. But in my opinion, this is just the truth. I don't see the evidence up to now from this season that he does turn it round.
Scousemo. Ben says he's willing to give, and correct me if I'm wrong, he says, I think he's implying that he's willing to give the players more time, but
the new ones,
but I think he's coming to the end of his tether with the manager. Your opinion on that?
It's interesting with the players, especially. I want to know how much involvement Slot had with signing some of these players. Like how much, because when he initially came in, it was it was told that everyone was saying like he's the first team coach, he's the coach, he's not a manager, he's a coach, and Edwards and Hughes would be in charge of the player transfers. So how much involvement did he have with these players that signed?
I personally think, I'm just putting it out there, I personally think not much.
Zero.
I agree, yeah.
Zero.
Provided for him.
What I think is Slot is, sorry to interrupt, Slot is a yes man for Edwards and Hughes.
I mean, it's probably what he signed up for, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're a coach. Yes, sir. You get these players. Yes, sir. Whereas they couldn't have done that with Klopp. That's why Klopp had his own.
Well, Klopp did it. Klopp did it for the first few seasons he was there.
Yeah, but then he grew his ball a little bit,
didn't he?
And yeah, but
Which is right, to be fair. Like
with
the new manager,
any manager in world football would have took them.
I know, but at the same time, I feel like, but they've kind of put them in the shit with this team, like the players in terms of their profiles. Like when they signed these fullbacks, for example, I genuinely thought when they signed the fullbacks and they signed Wirtz, I genuinely thought we would play the same way City played on the weekend, with like the two wingers becoming more narrow and we're using our fullbacks as flying fullbacks. And then the DM can drop into like a 3 or something when we're in possession. That's genuinely what I thought. I don't think I've seen that unless I'm blind. I don't think I've seen that once this season, to be honest with you. Yeah. Both fullbacks are flying up, Wirtz cutting in from the left. We've seen Wirtz cutting from the left, but we've seen like Robertson, Bradley, they're not really bombing on as much as like the City team was the other day. So that's one thing I question myself. Okay, why has that not happened? Why is that not working? Is it because we want a little bit more defensive stability? Is it because we've had a poor run of form and we're in this rut? So maybe he's going back to the tried and tested from last season. Maybe that's the case. Maybe we're still waiting, and maybe eventually we will get to the position where we're seeing Kerkez and Frimpong just literally as like wingers, and then Salah's going to be more central and Wirtz is going to be more central, and then you still got your 3 central midfielders. That's how I thought we'll go into the season. The way we have gone into the season is, I don't even understand it. Genuinely, it's strange. There's huge gaps in midfield in almost every game that we play. Like
it's not only midfield, guys,
and in attack as well.
The gaps between them, in all 3 areas of the pitch, the gaps is ridiculous. Every player seems isolated when he gets the ball.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It doesn't make sense. Like that's the thing. Like if you would have went like the style of play that I'm thinking of, I can imagine our midfield being very like a lot of players being central. Like the wingers are going to be more central. Salah's not going to be drifting out wide, like hugging the touchline. He's going to be more close to the striker. And same with Wirtz, picking up those pockets. But for some reason, it's just like 5 at the back, 5 in attack, and nobody in midfield. And then there's just huge gaps in the attack, huge gaps in defense. It's just bizarre. And I don't understand what it is. Maybe there's no connection with the players. In terms of slots, me personally, I'm still going to give him time. He's a guy who's delivered me the Premier League trophy at Anfield, the first one that we've seen live. Do you know what I mean? And I had a great time in May, and I was celebrating and I was dancing. I'll give him some more time because we're still in the Champions League, and I feel like
games for him now, Mo, as
well. And there's some. You say that, but I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I'm not too confident. You know, genuinely, I was more confident for City. This is mental. I was more confident for City than I am like Nottingham Forest or Leeds away, or even West Ham away now on their little resurgence.
Yeah. I'm telling you now, I can't wait to ask you lot on the eve of the game again. All right, lads, what's the predictions?
I will tell you then.
You're all going to come out with your 4-0. We're going to smash them.
Sean Dyche ball, isn't it?
But one thing's for sure, lads. Up until Christmas, right? We do want him to do well, but he cannot lose another Premier League game.
No chance. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like if he loses some in the next 3, if he loses one of them, I dare him.
I'm going to get Welsh Mo's. Lewis, get me the next 5 league fixtures, please, when you can. Welsh Mo. Just on the back of Ben's bombshell, kind of. Well, it's not Ben's bombshell. It's quite.
Do you want the fixtures?
No. Where are we in terms of? Where do you think the fan base? What kind of percentage are we looking at now, guys, in terms of slot in and slot out? 60-40.
Yeah, generally when you see the discourse online.
Yeah,
but like you can't. But that's online now. I still think it's 50-50, if I'm honest. And I think, like, hold
on, Scousemo, you think it's 60-40 in?
60 in, 41 out.
Yeah, but you think it's worse, Mo, than basically.
I think
it's worse.
I think people are split down the middle at the moment. I genuinely do think that. And
this is this is a problem we've got at the minute.
100%. There's no connection within the team, and there's no connection with the fans at the moment. And I generally think every fan, myself especially, in my head, I'm giving them until January, and let's see where we are. These next run of games till January. If it's a shit show, then you got to go.
But the thing is, if he does go, if he does go, there's no manager that's going to come in and fix this. Genuinely, what do we do?
Unless you problems, apparently. So
unless you get Luis Enrique, he's going to leave.
We're not in a position like we were years ago where... Do you remember when Benitez left and it was like, okay, just bring Hodgson in. Okay, he's going. Bring Kenny back for a bit. Oh, he's going. Just get Brent. Like, you could bring in whoever you wanted and it would sort of be, okay, maybe this will be positive, because we were in such a shit position. We're not in a position like that. We're in a position where we can only bring in top quality managers because there's no one here that we can just go, right, you in, that'll do. We've not signed Slot because we thought he's going to win the league straight away and then he's going to go. You signed a Jose Mourinho for that from like 10 years ago. We've signed him because we think he's going to be a long-term project. The issue, like Ben said perfectly before, is he's won the league far too early. I've said it before, only 2 managers have come in our history and won the league in their first seasons, and that's Joe Fagan and Kenny Dalglish. And both seasons following winning the league, they finished second. But it's such a hard task to do, and he's done it far too early. Not in like I'm happy he did, I'm thrilled he did, but that's why this expectation's here. And we're not in a position right now where we can just bring in an Oliver Glasner from Palace and think, yeah, he'll get it going. We can only sign a certain caliber of manager to get this going in the way that we want it to go, because we're back to that standard.
Go on, Ben.
You need inspiration off the sideline, because the facts are showing with all these defeats that they're not getting up for games. Yeah. In all the defeats, right, we've been fucking garbage.
And people say we've signed loads of players. Yeah, we have. And I don't buy that as an excuse.
1 or 2 are only starting at the minute, Mo.
Well, Sunderland signed 17 players.
17
players they signed. And they're a championship side in the Premier League with a brand new manager who's never managed a single game in the Premier League. Yeah. And they're 4th. So I don't buy that excuse with too many players integrating. They've integrated 11 players. So it has to come. All roads lead back to the manager, I'm afraid. And it leads back to the tactics and no identity. And that feeds onto the players. Yes, we got a bit of fight at home, because at home the crowd are on. We're there. We're lively. We spur them on. If you can't get up for away games when you're champions, everybody treats Liverpool away as a cup final. We're the only people who don't treat it as a cup final. We turn up away and we get...
How is that possible, though, guys? I don't understand it. So you guys are intimating, right? And I don't agree with you guys about it's a lack of effort. I don't think it's a lack of effort. I've seen them run their bollocks off. I just don't think...
Not lack of effort. It's like, sorry to interrupt. Just away from home, there's something not right. He's not getting them up for it. And there must be a reason why.
Getting up for it, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a case of up for it. I just don't. I agree with whoever said, I don't think we've got the profile of player to know what it's like, to win back-to-back league titles, like what it's like to play at an away ground in the Premier League when you're champions, when they're coming for you, like you're the king and they're looking to kick you off your throne, and they will do it however means necessary. I don't think we're ready for it in terms of tactically and physically.
So then that's him then, tactically, isn't it?
But then that
does come down to the manager. I agree.
Yeah, and it comes down to mentality, in which the manager gives you that mentality.
Can I just say something, right? Let's just be fucking real about it now. Do you know if it was anyone else, we'd say, what's that manager doing at that football club, spending all that money and fucking being first to 8th? Let's cut the bollocks now. Liverpool right now are in a crisis. Let's make no mistake about it. And I am positive to win every game. But right now, you've got to judge. Forget about the Forest game at home. I'm more looking at them away games now, because he's got to start turning this around. We go to West Ham and get beat. This can't carry on, Chris. We've just bought Wirtz, Isak, and all this. They're probably going, what have we walked into here? And that's why I'm struggling to judge them, because they've gone into a team that's played terrible. And it's not just before that. It's not even just because when we've won the league, we're getting beat. It's been fucking happening all year. And I want him to turn it round, but he's got to give some more.
I think one of the biggest concerns for me as well is looking back on Slot last season. One of the things that pleased me the most about him was his in-game tactics and his substitutions, like how he would alter his formation or his tactics depending on how the opposition team was lining up or combating what we set up before the match. But this season, I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah,
and I feel like,
if plan A doesn't work, there's no plan B.
Yeah, there's no plan B. It just seems like continuous with plan A. He makes about 5 substitutions per match, and he always seems to take off an attacker for Joe Gomez. And it's just like when we're chasing the game. And I'm looking at him this season, I'm thinking, this is not the Slot that I remember from last year. The Slot from last year would have changed something, tweaked something, and it would have influenced like how we play. Like, for example, the way that they were isolating Kanate on Sunday and just letting him have the ball. I've seen that happen. It's not a new thing. This has happened so many times with Kanate. But previously,
I've been laughing all week at people think that that's a new thing.
No, it's mental.
Some of these tacticos are just the glory's getting to their head.
Oh my god, it's been happening for years, but
the difference was
for
years. The
previously
on the ball gets time space.
Previously we had Trent right next to him, so you got Trent as an outlet, but the other outlet that we had was McAllister used to come into that space. Gravenberch used to come into that space, but in that game on Sunday, we never seen that, and I could see that watching it from home. I could see this, and I'm thinking, why didn't we maybe implement something in the second half? It did, but I think at that point it was a little bit too late. Not even in the second half, during the match. Maybe tell McAllister, like, drop a little bit deeper, get in between the two centre half, demand the ball from the goalkeeper, like your best ball playing midfielder. Because I don't think Gravenberch is that. McAllister probably is, but I said it before and I'll say it again. If McAllister's having a bad game, Liverpool are having a bad game.
Big up Leighton. I know he's a subscriber to my channel, so big up. I haven't seen him and spoken to him for a little while. Good to see you, pal. He says, we missed Trent a lot in that first phase build-up. It was a cheat code against a high press, and we don't have anyone in the backline except Virgil who can do anything similar. Bob says, we are bullied everywhere. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
This one. Slot tweaked the club system and won the league. Artful Dodger says, as soon as we won, he started implementing his style and we started losing games, continuing this season.
Great point.
Well, Schmo.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point. And look,
that's not very. That's a bad.
Look, truth hurts. Like, we got to face it. Look, that I think he's spot on. He tweaked Klopp's system. We won the league. Okay, now he's got his players. He wants to implement his style, whatever that is. Has he been found out? Is his style strong enough for this league? Because by the looks of it, it's not. And we should be worried. Like, I'm just like saying now as it is. I've got standards as a Liverpool fan, and I know we don't sack managers and all that, and I don't want to turn into a Chelsea sacking a manager every year, and I don't want a project manager. I get it, but if you don't get top 4 this year, it's catastrophic. And the fact I'm saying that in November just takes the piss.
Also,
I don't think there's any denying that a top 4 place is the very, very bare minimum. So I agree that if he doesn't get top 4, even me, who's a slot inner, and you think these days slot inner or slot outer, there's no coming back from that. Lewis, sorry, early on you had that next 5 fixtures for us. Is it there?
Yes, I've got it here for you. Give me 2 seconds.
Because Ben's right. Our next 4 or 5 fixtures are winnable, but I genuinely struggling to see our next away win. So look, despite it's going to be Dyche, despite Forest, despite all that business, we all pray and hope and expect Liverpool to win at Nottingham Forest at home, right? If we don't, then it's mutiny. But West Ham away, 3-4 weeks ago, we would have said we needed this fixture to get out, get some confidence going. Ben, that's going to be a naughty fixture, sadly, because it's Nuno in charge of them now as well.
Well, mate, one thing's for sure is go. If you want to beat Liverpool, just go forward. And we seem to concede goals. So You know, Jared
What's
Bowen.
the key? What's the key? What's the key to beating us? If you're West Ham, what are they doing?
Just
Do what everyone else does.
Whatever you want. Slot will probably tell you before the next press conference what you're doing right.
Can we? Do you mind if we? I'm just intrigued what people think. Like, can we just quickly go through these next 5 and just say your opinion? Win, draw, win, loss. I just want to like. Could we go through one by one and see what?
You start because I don't want you copying people. So
no, just say no one at a time. So, Forest, I reckon win. Okay, what does everyone think? Forest.
I think win.
If we can't beat Forest, lads, we may as well just shut the doors on the ground.
We're going to say that for every fixture, Ben. Watch this. Go on.
No, go on. Mo?
Yeah, win. We all think win.
Okay,
win
so West Ham, I think draw.
I think loss, West Ham.
Fucking
Honestly, I don't. We've not got a good history in that ground, regardless of who's in charge.
Grizz, what do you think?
I think we'll win.
Okay, Ben?
West Ham?
Yeah.
I expect us to win, lad, but I just can't,
Okay, win.
Yeah, expectation. What do you think that's going to happen?
We have to get our shit together and go there and win. There's no excuse.
Okay, Mo, West Ham?
No, I'm going to go with win.
Okay, Leeds, I reckon we're going to lose.
That's the game I'm worried about, Leeds, because the crowd will be on Liverpool.
Yeah, that's it. 5:30 kickoff, crowd. We're going to lose that game, in my opinion.
They'll shit the bed before kickoff again.
And then
I'm worried about Sunderland, like, honest to God. I know
that's what I was about to say.
Then we got PSV. We got PSV away before Sunderland, didn't we?
No, I was going to say that Leeds, Sunderland, Inter Milan away that week is just disgusting. Lord have mercy on Liverpool football that week. That week is going to be hell.
No, we've had worse weeks, man. Come on, guys.
No, but obviously we've had worse weeks, but I'm just saying, like, the way that we've been playing, etc. I can't see many W's in that week, No. Can't lie to you. And then where are we going to be come the 10th of December?
Okay, I'm going to put it out there. I don't care about the Champions League games. I'll say it again.
It's forgiven, innit? You've got time with that.
Yeah, you can lose the next 2 and still get through. Like.
Yeah.
Bob's saying, stop, lads. I need to sleep tonight, man. Mate, that's the way it's looking now. Like, we've gone from Man City, Real Madrid, and Villa in the same week to thinking about Sunderland and Leeds in the midweek, man.
We struggled against Burnley, man. We went away to Burnley and nearly drew there. And at this point, I'm not confident we get anything against anyone.
They've smacked the confidence out of the fans, in it. None of us are confident at the moment.
It's just very briefly, and it's amazing that hopefully we've covered most of the show without going into the game. But I guess just very quickly, we've got a few minutes left to touch upon the game. And it was calamity, wasn't it, Lou?
Hi, guys.
Start with you. Straight from the off, it was a calamity of, I don't know, backing off, error after error, indecisiveness. Even from an opening 5-10 minutes, you could see their plans, yet we weren't able to adjust at any point whatsoever. It was just passive, wasn't it, Lewis? And then obviously it culminates in from Bradley actually doing very well against Doku in that opening 5-10 minutes, and then Ibu coming over and thinking, I mean, I wanted to go absolute mad at that phase of play.
No amount of tactics or coaching can coach that out of someone. He's just an idiot. There's no reason. There's no excuse. He's simple at points, and I don't understand how someone can go for, like, I've said it so many times. Up until that Madrid game last season, I think Canate was our best centre back. He was fantastic. He was so good in the air. Positionally, he was brilliant. He's just completely fell off a cliff. And then he'll have 1 or 2 games where he looks back to it and we go, right, give him the contract, whatever. And then he plays like this, and I'm just thinking, I don't care if he stays or goes. I'm really not asked, because he completely threw that out of whack. And I've said, like, no amount of tactics or coaching or team selection or man management or anything, you can still tackle someone. You can still go into someone and win the ball. Everyone just rolled over and gave up. We looked scared the minute they came forward. And like I've said before, this is a City team who were there to be beat. This isn't a City team that were the Centurions or won the treble, or, this is a weak in midfield City team who, the minute they came forward, rather than us thinking, right, let's win the ball and get on the counter, or let's make something happen, we just sat back And then Ibu's just going for his wonders. Didn't he do it? He did it later on in the match as well, didn't he? Where he flew forward into midfield, missed the tackle, and then he got left behind. And just sometimes it's not down to coaching, it's just down to idiots in the team. And Ibrahim Konate, he has moments of brilliance.
They all play like idiots. Yeah, they're all playing like idiots at the moment. Not only Ibu, honestly.
No, not only Ibu, but he's the one making mistakes at the moment that are so noticeable because they're costing us in big moments.
Yeah, absolutely. At the time, I didn't understand their first goal, and looking back now, I realize why I didn't understand their first goal because it was. Am I right in saying, guys, it was quite fluky? Haaland's header.
It was just a good header, to be fair.
Fluky, but I blame Van
Dijk. But there was certain people are saying that it hit him.
Yeah, it just hit him, to be honest. But he deserves that luck, to be honest. If we're being honest, lads, he's been incredible this season. That's the kind of stuff that happens when you're on form.
You look as well. We've been shit, so you get shit luck, don't you?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, fair enough.
To be honest, though, Robbo and Van Dijk need to have a word with themselves,
100%.
fucking around, swapping positions, and just leaving Nunes.
Their first goal started from we had them pinned in our corner.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That's where their first goal came from. So do you know what? Even if it came off Haaland's head, they deserved it. Every player
100%.
touched the ball.
Yeah, but they were playing like that all through the game. Their build-up was exceptional, guys.
But we let it
sit around in the road.
Exactly, we let them. It was so easy to play. It was so easy to play around us. From we had them pinned. I thought we were going to get a corner. I thought, oh, here we go, corner. Next thing I know, we're 1-0 down. I was like, huh? What just happened?
Passing around us like we're cones.
Yeah,
honestly,
it was a training game.
But albeit, still, I don't understand why Robertson never just ran out to stop that cross from coming in. Like, I understand all of that was bad. Like, they played amazing, let's be honest, boys, but why can't Robertson just stop the cross? I understand Van Dijk was getting back into position and Robertson was, and etc. And like when they were going back into the defense, but still, I don't understand why Wirtz or Robertson didn't try and close the cross.
Yeah, all the time in the world.
That's literally Sunday league. Like
I was screaming.
Like, the basic of football, the most basic thing of football. Just don't let the cross come into the box, especially when there's a 6'5" giant in the box.
But multi-shot positions as the
I know, and I understand that happened, but I'm saying at the exact moment when Matheus Nunes had the ball, Robertson went and then stopped, went again and then stopped. I'm thinking just fly into him, don't let him cross. I understand the little swapping in positions, that's mad, and maybe they shouldn't have waited until the ball's far away. But still doesn't. I can't understand why Robertson just didn't close the ball or Wirtz.
Yeah,
well, hold your fire, guys, because it gets worse. So obviously, I'm not going to dwell on the disallowed goal. Brilliant header, shit decision happens when luck's against you. When you're playing shit, you seem like your luck's against you as well. So even though we were shit, we didn't get a rub of the green, right? But we were shit. It's not an excuse. It's just that's what happens, right? You got to work your way through it, put more effort in, etc., etc. But that second goal before halftime, because I was doing a watch along and I was like, this really ain't a 2-0 game at the moment. Like it should be 1-1. Maybe they should be ahead. But if they get a second here, it's game over, lads. And what happens? From a corner, you lot talking about the first goal being shambolic. Yeah, that second goal is the most amateurish thing. We're sleeping. They have got about 3 or 4 players on the edge of their box. You could predict so obviously what they're about to do. We're so brain dead, guys. We're so brain dead to react to anything basic. Like, how are you not coming out to that to block that? And as soon as I saw that shot lining up, I kind of foresaw a deflection, Ben. Like, I knew it's going to just take a deflection and go in. That just killed any hopes and desire. And I know you shouldn't give up at halftime, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I knew it was game done.
You say give up at half time. We looked like a team that it'd give up before kickoff, to be honest, mate. I thought we were losing the game as soon as I seen Konate fucking tackle Bradley. I thought, what? To be honest, mate, I'm fucking fuming with them, to be honest, still now, because we're talking about it. It's fucking making me blood boil thinking about them. To be honest, mate, they just look like a poorly coached team at the minute. It's as simple as that. No one knows what they're doing. No one has any idea where they're meant to be. And at the end of the day, just being poorly handled, to be honest, mate. And you can't go to City and let them dictate you. How we thought letting City just overload us would be the thing and look surprised. That's fucking baffling to me. That's all I can say, mate, before I really go in on them, to be fair.
Do you know, with that second goal, one stat that I seen in the build-up to this match was that Man City have taken the most shots from outside the box this season.
There you
so
go.
The second that ball was, because it was the first time they did a short corner, most of the time it was going into the box, but it was the first time they had a short corner. The second that ball goes to the edge of the box, every single Liverpool player on that pitch should have been drilled into thinking they are going to shoot. So get out, rush out, don't let that shot come through.
Again, Mo, they're laboured. Remember Gary Neville said, they're walking round. What the fuck is going on?
But like with small things like that, for me, makes me fume, because who am I? I am nobody. I'm not a tactical in any way, shape or form. I just watch football because I'm a big fan. But I couldn't understand how we went into that game knowing that they take the most shots from outside the box and they could see 2 goals from shots outside the box.
But do we be worried? I know you said you're fuming because of that, but do we be worried the fact that when they're walking, should we be worried? Is that a sign of them not playing for the manager? I'm just putting it out there.
And I'd hate that from their mentality as well.
But that's what I was saying before. I don't give a shit what the tactics are or who's in charge or anything. If you're walking around half-arsing and not putting in an effort, then get gone. I'm not. I understand that it's the way they've been set up.
10 players, Lou, were walking around. So do you want all 10 players gone?
No, I'm not saying as in sack the team, but what I mean in the sense of, if you're gonna go away to City, a team who you're meant to be competing with the league for, a team who you beat twice last season, who are not as good as City teams we've seen in the past, and you get more up for an Aston Villa game than you do for that match, there's a problem there. It may be the manager, it may be them, I don't know, but you can't wander around the pitch in the hopes that the ball's just going to come to you. You've got to get stuck in. You've got to put an effort in to win the ball back and make things happen. And they didn't do that. And when they did, it was like they were lost. Like I said before, Ibu went forward to win the tackle. As soon as he got into the midfield, he looked like he didn't know what was going on. Robertson, he'd get out of position. He looked lost. Wirtz, they look like they've been told, right, get on the pitch, see what happens. And it's a reflection of what Slot's getting them to do at the minute and the lack of effort that's being put in at certain moments when we need them to turn up.
Do you think, sorry to quick, so I could ask the panel something on a chat even, do you think there's something to read between the lines between the Mo Salah thing and, and Slot may be a problem there, not maybe having the balls to manage him properly, or maybe some of the squad members are pissed off with Mo, maybe trying to be the main man syndrome and not.
I think Mo's probably been one of our worst players this season.
I don't really want to get into a debate of just pure wild speculation like that. With all due respect.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, could there be something there? I'm just saying,
no. I think we're just going into the delves of just stuff I don't really like associating myself with.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, it's just making up wherever comes in our mind.
I do think the next few games.
I just think there's an issue with the manager. Yeah. Absolutely is.
The next few games will tell us that, wouldn't it?
I said this on a stream the other day where I said we forget that he's actually quite a young novice of a manager. Yeah, he's not managed. This is the biggest club by of his life. He won't manage a bigger club than Liverpool. He's come from AZ, Feyenoord to Liverpool. He's very new. He's learning on job. So all this question marks about how he's handling players X, Y, Z, they're valid, but he needs to find himself. He needs to find himself. And what I mean by that, he needs to create a new almost identity for us and, dare I say it, for himself. So you asked me earlier, actually you didn't ask me, you asked the panel, but I didn't get involved. And I will now to end the show. You said, what is a Slot team? Or was it Ben who asked? What's Slot's identity? What's Slot ball? Yeah, Slot ball is possession-based game. He's come from the school of the Dutch philosophy about being multifunctional in your position play, ability to do all things as a footballer, being able to play in a multitude of positions, right? That's what Slot ball was when we recruited him and signed him. His ability to work with small budgets, turn players, coach players into better players. He'd done that in the first season, guys. Regardless of what you might think of him now, he did. He got a tune out of them and he did coach them. A few of the players had outstanding seasons, i.e. Gravenberch, etc., etc. Even Gakpo, right? But now there's absolutely valid questions because now there's been an influx of new players and established ones leaving. So now he has to find himself and find an identity for Liverpool. I personally will go first and say I'm willing to give him more time, one by one. Maybe a couple of sentences at max, but we want to end the show now. So Lewis, Arne Slot, in or out?
He's in. After last season, I think he does deserve the time. I know he's got time this season, but your time's very limited when you're fighting for league titles. So I do think he needs to get it right sooner rather than later. But there's no one you could replace him with. So keep him in for now. Hopefully things sort of get back to where they used to be.
Ben, you don't have to give more than a sentence.
No, it's not. I'll say it quickly because you want to wrap up the show. If a Luis Enrique had said yes to Liverpool, he'd be gone. That's what I would say.
Scousemo.
How we found ourselves in this position, boys? What is going on? We spent $500 million in the summer, but yeah, for me, for now, I'm still slot in. He needs to change this around quickly, man. Honestly, something needs to happen. No more losses. Just stop it.
I promised myself never to let Welshman go last, but I've gotten and I flopped, and none of you lot reminded me. But go on, my brother.
I'm giving him till January. And see where I am or where we are. But if the next 3 losses in the next 6, 7, he's in.
Oh, that's gone. That's gone.
He might be gone. He might be gone. And do you know what my fear is? I fear that we've got such a strong love triangle with Bournemouth. I fear if that does happen.
No, don't say it.
That's my fear. I'm not even going to say his name because I don't want to put it out there. My choice is Luis Enrique or Xabi Alonso, but that's never going to happen. Xabi might actually happen because Vinicius Junior argument, but who knows? But that's my only fear with this love triangle we've got with Bournemouth.
Wow. Super chat to end the show. Thank you very much for Banter is Fine for the donation. He says, in my opinion, City's overloads and constant rotations made it difficult for our players to know who to press in possession, though I thought Slot set us up decent. But player execution was poor, especially in build-up. I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. It's a very, very good super chat. And sometimes you got to tip your hat off to one of the greatest coaches the world has ever seen in Pep Guardiola. And we can banter about the money and all that business, but to recreate 3 teams in this modern day and age, which he has pretty much, because this will be the 3rd team that hopefully wins the league now, because we're not winning it and we don't want that mob from North London. So this will be the 3rd time that he's recreated a team, and so fair play to him. He schooled Arne Slot. But Arne Slot is still a student. He's still fairly young. He's got time on his side. How much time? Find out in the next few segments of the Red Room. People, it's been a pleasure. You guys are lovely. Love you all. Chat, love you all. Big up to all of you lot. Have a boring international break. Simmer down. And we'll be back. Peace, love, and tranquility.